everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home and The Edge. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. It's always a pleasure to be with you. You know, we're at the studios of the Fiesel Farm on Donnell Lane. So we're in North Alabama. So thank you so much for watching. Now you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. A lot of you see Doug there. Another way you can find us is on Abundant TV, which is worldwide. We're syndicated with this station found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I have one of my good buddy friends right here. His name is Doug McGee. He's with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Doug, hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. They're wide open. It's been, hey, so far 2023 is good.
Always, always, always. So I want to talk about funding for our Second Chance. I know you're not government funded and that kind of thing. So I don't know if they can step in and help. But how can folks, first of all, let's talk about what Second Chance is. Folks that send funds from all over the country.
We do. Second Chance is a no-kill animal shelter. We're probably one of the few in the state that is no-kill. And what that means is animals get here unless there's a real reason for them to put them down, they don't get put down. It's not a matter of space. We just hang on to them until we find them a home. And nationally, the no-kill standard is less than 10% of the dogs at your facility get put down in a year. Ours is probably less than 1%. Occasionally, one's so sick or something, we have to do the humane thing. But as a rule, if they make it here, they're going to be alive till we find them a home. And that's what we are.
It's such a good thing. And I wanted to mention this. If you give to Second Chance Animal Shelter, it really does a lot for the community. And you don't have to worry about, and I've mentioned this before, Doug. Phil and I were watching a movie one night. So this pitiful commercial comes on. These poor little dogs and cats are being starved to death and all this kind of stuff. It's a big national network. And before I give to anything, especially when it's something that huge, I like to get on the internet and dig just a little bit and see how much money the CEO of that organization makes. Way over $1 million a year. Plus all the different people, they're making COO and all these other people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars as well. So yeah. I told Phil, I said, why am I even thinking about it when we've got Second Chance Animal Shelter just right down the road? And that's when I called you and you started coming on the show.
Yeah. And, I think that is the evolution of charities. They start out small, hearts are in the right place. And a lot of them, their heart's always in the right place. But the bigger they get, the more it becomes about their mission changes. All of a sudden, that's it. Once you start making $100,000 a year, you start thinking, oh, I enjoy my vacations or whatever. You want more. And then as time goes on, you're making $1 million. It's, I hope it don't happen to us. On the one side, I hope we start making enough money to where I can consider it, but people tend to lose their focus. I think the more money they get, the more it becomes about making money instead of doing whatever mission. And it's not just animal shelters, it's all charities.
But I'd like to see you guys take off and do more, because the more you can bring in, and I know you guys are not doing it for the money, I know that. But I'm going to be your mouthpiece right now. You guys really do need it because you can do more things.
We can.
Staff to help too, and so you got to have the money coming in to do that.
Yeah, you think charity-wise, we really picked the most difficult charity to maintain because we have to take care of the dogs every day. We're taking care of living beings. They have to be fed, watered, all that stuff every day. If you have some charities, like say a food bank, you can open up 2 days a week, give out groceries, and the other 5 days a week you don't have to worry about it. We have to be here 7 days a week. When we have to right now, we're taking care of 280 dogs, so they have to be taken care of, which involves the staff. Everybody says, "Oh, get volunteers." Volunteers definitely help, but they're the icing on the cake. You can't. There's no way you can depend on volunteers to be here 7 days a week and take care of the animals. Because if a volunteer gets mad at you, they just don't show up. And then you don't show employees. At least you got a paycheck holding it over them. So right now we got 15 employees that work here. A lot of them are part-time, but we have to have that to take care of the dogs. And then we also have a lot of volunteers. So it takes a lot of work to take care of all these dogs. And as much as people don't like to hear it, employees cost money. When you're handing them a paycheck, that's money that it's just kind of, I don't like, it bothers me to tell people that half the money that we get pretty much goes to pay the workers, but that's the reality of it. And it'll always be that way. I mean, you're going to have a certain number of employees and they've got to be paid. I mean, someday in utopia, we'll have a world where money means nothing, but right now we're not there.
Uh,
Gotta have it.
and for folks who have never owned a business before, they don't understand. There you have to pay for the operations of that business. You
Yeah,
got a
and
phone,
you think,
you got heat, you got air conditioning, you got all this stuff you got to pay for.
gasoline. Gasoline for us is huge because we go to Wisconsin every month, and that's a big expense. And like us, vet bills. We spend a fortune on vet bills to veterinary care for these dogs, get them fixed, and all that kind of stuff. It's an expensive operation. So far, we've been able to make it, but the more money we get, the better it gets. The van that we drive is to Wisconsin is 2008 model, 350,000 miles on it, and it's got to the point where we're skeptical. So we're trying to work on a van. We go buy a van, you're talking $40,000, and
Mhm.
people say, "Well, let somebody donate one." Do you know anybody that has a $40,000 van that they want to just give us? It's hard to find. I mean, so we're going to have to buy it. We're going to come up with the money and purchase that van. So it takes a lot of funds to do what we do, and we've been able to survive. But I'm like you. I would like the more money we get, the better this place gets, the better our everything gets. So, and back to the labor thing, wages have gone up everywhere, and that's a good thing unless you're trying to pay employees. Then it's not. I mean, we're competing against fast food. Our average worker here makes $9.50 an hour, which is nothing in today's world. Competing against McDonald's, who pays 14.
Mhm.
I mean, most of the people that work here are animal lovers. That's why they work here. That's the main thing that drives them to be here every day and work hard is their love for animals.
Mhm.
They're not so happy about the pay.
Question, because I mean, everybody should know what this is about, and that's driving to Wisconsin. About a ballpark, I know gases went down some, but a
Mhm.
ballpark, how much did it cost you in gasoline there and back?
Well, we normally go halfway, but we got one van that stays in Wisconsin, and we meet halfway. You're talking at least $400 on gas prices there, because gas prices are out here. You hit Illinois, northern Illinois especially, they're like $1 more a gallon than they are here. So you're talking $400 every trip. Um, then we got vehicles that get fairly decent gas mileage, not great, but they're vans. So your big van's going to get less, and that doesn't count any kind of. We had one of them that broke down, and that was $8,000 to get a new transmission fix. So just the cost of the vehicles really adds up too. It's just one of those things we have to do every month. We said we got one credit card that we use for gas to go to, and it's about $400 a month. It take a load of dogs up, and part of doing business. You got if it was, I wish we could run on water. Then the price of
Well,
water
when
would
you
go up.
figure that out, let me know. And again, it's not just gasoline; it's the maintenance. You got the oil changes. You got maintenance of keeping that on the road.
And when if we send an employee, which we try to use volunteers, sometimes we have a volunteer. Two people normally go. So on the northern end, it's normally volunteers, but on our end, it's an employee. Every hour that they're on the road, you're talking that 9, 10, whatever dollars an hour. So yeah, it's just expensive. I don't. I've always dreamed of a world that didn't exist around money. I don't know how on earth that would ever be.
There's not.
you know,
There is absolutely not one at
you
all.
gotta have it. Our power bills and water bills and dog food. Dog food costs more now than it ever has. But it happens. We get it somehow. We get the money. We use it for what we try to. Our mission is, and but the more money I get, I'll take it. You give me money, and I'll try to put it to good use.
Well, let me ask you about shortages, because I mean, there's shortages on everything nowadays. So,
Mhm.
are you guys running into issues with shortages with dog food? I know
We have
cat
with
food.
we have with at certain stores, and mainly with puppy. chow. We on any dog under 6 months old, we try to feed puppy chow because it's just a better diet for them. And lately, we've gone maybe to Walmart or some other store, and they've been out of puppy chow. So we've kind of had that has been an issue. Um, it's rare because normally we go to other stores, but the ones, we try to shop at the ones with the best price. And a lot of times you go there and puppy chow, there's been some shortages on it. Dog food pretty much has been okay. But yeah, puppy or specialized kind of dog foods, there definitely have been some shortage over that in the last year. And we just try to go somewhere else, but then I don't like spending $1 more somewhere else. I'm the kind of guy that says, hey, if I can spend $18 here and $19 there, I'll go for the $18. But so the cheaper places are harder to find the good stuff.
So let me ask you this about how much dog food you guys go through in a month.
We go through about, for every dog, roughly a pound a dog. So right now we're going through about 300 pounds a day. So in a month, that'd be 9,000 pounds, 4.5 tons of dog food. That's a lot of dog food. I mean, that is a whole lot of dog food. You can figure 5 or 6 bags every day. And if we buy dog food, well, the last time we bought it for a whole month has been several years ago. It was $3,500, roughly that range. We try to feed them decent dog food. You might shortcut it some, but then you got diarrhea and things like that you don't want to deal with. So we try to give them a very good brand, or not we're not able to give them the super good branded dog food that's $80 a bag. But we try to give them a moderate level of dog food. And we go through a lot of dog food, and people bring it to us all the time. They'll donate dog food to us, and it helps. If we get 50 pounds donated, that's 50 pounds we don't have to buy.
Well, let me ask you a question. For those who are listening to us right now, they're thinking, well, I just want to bring some dog food. What kinds of what brands do you like to feed the dogs?
Purina is normally our fallback. Purina dog chow, just regular Purina dog chow. Retriever from Tractor Supply is another brand that we get pretty good success with. I wouldn't turn down anything, but some of these discount stores, if they have a store brand, I mean, it really does. And I really don't want to turn down any offer. If somebody wants to donate, but if you go to one of these dollar store discount stores and buy the cheapest thing out there, we do have digestive problems out of that. We can tell. You can tell when you've been feeding them something not quite as good because the for lack of any other word, poop is not. It's a lot more difficult. Purina, it's not pleasant still when it's Purina, but at least it's not. It's solid, and that's what we're after. Just a good medium grade dog food. And like I said, our fallback is normally always Purina. Purina puppy chow for puppies. Purina just dog chow for the dogs. It doesn't have to be the high protein things like that, because high protein will really be more for dogs that can get out and run and all. These dogs are pretty much, they don't have the ability to do that. So just a standard Purina dog chow is where our fallback food. And sometimes, go ahead. Sometimes we get people that bring the highest, the best, Blue Buffalo and those high dollar brands. Hey, that's great too. The dogs love that. You can tell their attitude is better when they get that food.
So anybody just bring the good stuff and bring it by there, and you'll be having now they can write this. Just keep up with your receipts, and you'll be able to write this off on your taxes too.
You can, and if you know the value, we can give you a tax form that has our tax ID number and everything on there. You'll need to know the value of what you bring to us. We don't. I can't put down a value. That's
just hold on.
So yeah, if you bring dog food, ask for a tax receipt. We'll gladly give it to you. And if you spent $800, just write it on there on your tax receipt, and that'll give you something to take to the IRS, and hopefully it'll benefit you. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so it is tax deductible. It could help you a lot, especially if you want to bring us a truckload. I'll take it. Bring me a truckload of dog food, you'll be like take it off in taxes.
Now, what are some of the other things people can donate?
Time as a volunteer. We, like I said before, volunteers are the icing on the cake, but we need volunteers. There's a lot of times we have like a volunteer foster coordinator that helps us foster. If you want to volunteer to foster dogs, take them into your house and kind of get them out of here for a little while, that's something. But time as a volunteer, any kind of cleaning supplies, as far as bleach and laundry soap and spray cleaners and things like that, we use tons of it. And if we don't get it donated, we have to buy it. Paper towels, you wouldn't believe how many paper towels an animal shelter of our size goes through. I don't like, it's just the way it is. So we go through tons of paper towels and we don't waste them. I wouldn't, but hey, it's just one of the things. Any kind of cleaning supplies, stamps, the newsletter we get, we have, so stamps is something a lot of people send to us. Computer kind of supplies, paper, anything, yeah, of course, if you want to just give us a catch-all, you donate money. The things we don't get donated, we're going to buy anyways. So, people don't like it when you say, "Oh, cash is the best king," but cash does work, because that way, if I need paper, I can buy paper. If I need to pay a vet bill, I can pay a vet bill. If I need to buy gas, hey, buy a gas card. If you want to donate a gas card, we'll put it to good use, because we go through a lot of fuel around here, because we're always traveling, doing something.
Yeah, and if you get one like a Walmart one for your fuel, I think you get like a discount.
Right. Yeah. See, we have people.
1% means a lot of money when you're spending $800 or $500.
Oh, absolutely. And people, and we do travel a lot. It's not just a trip to Wisconsin, but every day we take dogs to the vet. Well, that's 7 miles each way, a 14-mile trip, and we're going every day. Or we may have to go to Gadsden to pick up a dog, or we might have to go to Huntsville to take some dogs. So there's a lot of traveling involved in this business. We might have to drive 20 miles to rescue a dog, pull a dog out of a pipe or something. We just never know. So we've got, all of our vehicles, we've got 4 vehicles, and they all can be moving and traveling all the time, not just cruising, actually doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys had a lot of help. You were on the show one day, and we were talking about blankets. And so the ladies from the Cowboy Church,
they did.
Man, they went to sew and went crazy on it, didn't they?
Absolutely. And that's once again, if you want to volunteer time, several years ago, I thought I wanted to cut blankets down to the same size, and every time a dog got adopted, a blanket went with it to kind of give the dog a comfort, almost like, I call it the Linus Project, because it reminds me of Linus on Charlie Brown. When the dog leaves here, it's got something that it can comfort it when it's going into a strange new home. And it's been on and off. We've given out a lot of blankets, but other times we forgot. But yeah, we're still looking for a consistent people to surge around the edge and cut those blankets down. Cowboy Church, I don't know how many they did, a bunch, but we run through them quick. If we adopt out 100 dogs a month, that's 100 blankets a month. That's a lot of work, a lot of cutting and surging. We've got the blankets. People donate blankets all the time, but it's still got to be cut down and surged around the edges and that kind of thing. So, hey, got any seamstresses out there, or whatever a male seamstress would be called, a tailor, I guess, we'll put you to work.
And what about toys for the dogs? Dogs like to chew on stuff.
Yeah, toys, there's certain types of things that just to keep in mind there. Most of our dogs are not they don't know the etiquette of playing with toys. So if you go to PetSmart and buy a $30 fluffy foo-foo toy, keep it for your dog, because if we bring it here, our dogs don't know how to handle it. It'll just be a big ball of fluff in about 3 minutes. It's happened before. Our dogs, you gotta have something. Think sturdy. If you're bringing a toy to the animal shelter, think sturdy, and it could be, a big piece of rope with knots on the end. That seems to be a good one.
I love that.
They do.
Buddy, you spend $40 on a toy, and he's just gonna look at it and bark at it. But you give him a rope, and he is just for hours.
That's the kind of toy you need to bring. I've always said old leather shoes. If somebody got a pair of old leather shoes, bring them here. The dog will. That's what you need to bring here. Not that our dogs are that destructive, but they don't understand that high dollar cute little toy with a squeaker in it, all they can think is tear it up. And you look out, if you go out in 5 minutes, you've got just a bunch of stuff to clean up because the dog's tore it all to pieces. And the squeaker, they probably eaten it. So, most of our dogs here at the shelter are big dogs. Most of them don't have any training with toys about how to be gentle, and they're not going to be. They're going to they're going to pull and they're going to just destroy it. So think sturdy. If you bring a toy to the animal shelter, don't think foo-foo or high dollar. Think cheap, hard, just hardcore toys that they can just they have a hard time tearing up.
Well, I got
And
an idea.
that's
So if you're with a group of kids and you're always looking for a project for the kids, why don't you just get a
Mhm.
bunch of rope and let the kids just start tying knots in them? Cut them off, bring them to the shelter. The dogs
Right.
would love.
And it would need to be a pretty thick rope. It would need to be, like a little bitty corded kind of rope wouldn't be bad. So it need to be something that's I don't know, and nothing like a shipping rope that they tie ships off to docks with, but it needs to be pretty good size.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, these dogs, when they get a hold of something, they're pretty aggressive about uh, playing with it. So it's
Well, and
not
I got
like,
another idea. Here's another idea. This is fantastic right here. So let's say you're cleaning out the closets. We're just about to have some spring fever here. People are going to start cleaning out their closets. You got some old t-shirts, old shirts, old pants, and stuff like that. Cut the legs of the pants and tie a bunch of knots in them. Dogs love it.
oh, they do, and they get that, and we have to be somewhat careful because some of the dogs they might actually fight over a toy, but stuff like that, they get it, and they need that. They need that. Uh, I don't know what you call it, but they need to play with toys. It's good for their brains, good for their. I mean, keeps them active. So bring it to us. If it's a rope or something like that that's kind of sturdy, bring it.
Well, I'll tell
you
you what
know.
I did one time, and I did this for my dog, Buddy. And
Mhm.
so he had lost he's got a rope he likes to play with, but he lost it. So I just found an old t-shirt and I just started tying knots in that old t-shirt. And I threw that out there and he had the biggest time with it. And I mean, it took him a long time to destroy it, like
And if they
days.
do, and if they do, and it's something like that, whoop de doo. It's not a big deal. I mean, if you, they have like the Kong toys and things like that that are kind of built to endure. That's once again, if you bring a toy to the shelter. Now, if you do bring something that you went out and spent $30 on, a little thing's got a squeaker, we've got a few dogs that we'll let play with stuff like that. It's just if you got it and want to bring it to us, bring it on. But as a rule, these dogs they're a little rougher on toys. They're
Well,
not
I
going
just know Buddy, it wouldn't last long. I mean, so that's why just an old t-shirt, put it in a bunch of knots or rope or something like that. And he's just tickled. He will play for hours with it and just roll all over the ground with it.
And most of our kennels have two dogs, so if you give them something they can pull on together, they'll entertain each other. It's really a good. It's a good thing. The T-shirt idea is great. Bundle them up, tie knots in them, just make it. And once again, if they rip it in half in 5 minutes, who cares? I mean, it's not like you're tearing up something that had a lot of value to it to begin with. So, by all means, and keep in mind. So, what can we use if it's something dog related? We'll use it. And one dog houses. I'm glad you actually mentioned that. We have a program we call it Second Chance Shelter Shelter, and the goal being no dog within 50 miles of the shelter be without a dog house. I mean, people, for whatever reason, they'll have a dog, they'll have it chained out, and they won't have a dog house. Well, the rain and the sun and all those, that's just not humane. And there's actually Alabama law against it, but finding anybody to enforce it is, so you're not working just against not the law, you're also working against people who don't want to enforce it. But we've given out 66 so far, and within 50 miles. So if you have a doghouse, a plastic doghouse, it can't be the heavy wooden ones because we don't have the manpower to move them. But if you have a plastic igloo doghouse or one of the, please bring it to us. We're out right now. We have no doghouses, and people call us pretty regular. My neighbor's got a dog. He's sitting outside underneath the tree with no doghouse. I feel so bad for it, but I don't know what to do. If you'll call us and give us the address, we will deliver it. We'll put straw in it. We'll provide a doghouse. No questions. It's not the dog's fault that he's stuck out there with no doghouse. So if you'll call us, we will do everything we can to provide the dog with a doghouse, shelter, and I don't think a lot of people have taken advantage of it. Most people don't know we're coming. We'll show up at their house, say, "Hey, we see your dog don't have a house. Do you mind if we give you one?" And everybody's been receptive to us. We're not there to judge them and tell them what a horrible person they are, even though we may think it. We're not. That's not why we're there. We may be thinking, "Why don't you have your dog a house?" But we just kind of say, "Hey, here's a dog house. Don't cost anything. I want your dog to have shelter." And most people, I think, are pretty receptive to that because we're not out there telling them, we're not judging them openly. We're just saying, hey, we want to help the dog. And if you'll take this dog house, it's yours. So,
Well, what about
dog house is what we need.
hay and stuff like that that go inside the house?
Yeah, we use hay and straw. The best thing is straw. And if you don't know the difference, there is a difference in hay and straw. I don't know how to describe the difference, but straw definitely works better for animals as a
It's not
bedding.
as harsh. The straw
No,
is going to be a little stronger, and it might prick them just a little bit. So the hay
and
is
some dogs are allergic to hay. You get, it'll cause their skin to be irritated.
yeah.
They don't do that with straw. So,
Okay.
yeah, we need bales of straw, number one. But if we can't have bales of straw, then we will take bales of hay. That's what we put in our kennels. It's good enough bedding for them to keep them warm. And it's expensive. If we have to go buy it, you're talking now $7 a bale, I think, for straw. I don't, if you want to buy straw and bring it to us, we'll take it. If you have I don't know how they get straw. I know how to get hay, but I've never dealt with processing of straw. But yeah, straw is definitely if you've got some, we'll definitely take that. As the summer goes on, the need for that goes down a lot. But right now, we still need it. We got some hay, got some straw out here, but we always can use more.
What about like old cardboard, stuff like
Um,
that? Something you could use, or like old newspapers.
Newspapers, yes. Cardboard, no. And on the newspapers, we have an area called the BB Center where all the small dogs, most of them are in crates. These are ones that are maybe sick or something. They're in smaller areas. And we line those with newspapers. If
Okay.
you do bring those, you can help us out a lot by removing the slick ads, the little pamphlets and things like that. I mean, a lot of people just bring us the whole newspaper, and then we have to sort through them and remove the things we can't use. We pretty much need your basic newspaper, like the big pages that you
Black
open
and
up.
white.
Yeah, black and white part of the newspaper, the front page kind of stuff. If you'll bring that to us, we will. We're out. Yeah, well, they actually went to the Gunnersville Glean yesterday and picked up a bunch. So we run shortages of that all the time. We could put those pea pads underneath them, but that's expensive. That's a very expensive thing to have replace the lining with pea pads all the time. So we use newspaper. It's a little more frugal, and people bring it to us. Hey, if I can use newspaper for free versus pea pads for whatever they cost, I'll use newspaper.
That'd be a good drive for you to do for your church or your organization, and
Oh yeah, and
do that.
on that end too. I haven't openly done this yet. Several years ago, I used to collect aluminum cans just as an individual because I good for the environment. There's 32 to 33 cans in a pound. It's about 50 cents a pound, so about a penny and a half a can. We started collecting aluminum cans at the shelter, and my goal was when I first started 1,000,000 cans, and that would be $15,000 over a period. So far, about 40,000 cans. Every time we go, I just weigh it out and figure roughly how many cans. So aluminum cans. If your church or organization wants to do an aluminum can drive, that would be great. People, the other day I went to the police department in Albertville to visit old friends, and they just had a bag of cans. So I brought them out, and every now and then we'll take them to the recycling place and get $150, $200. No big timetable on this, but I'd like to see if we could raise 1,000,000 cans for the shelter. So if your group organization wants to just go start collecting aluminum cans. Now, what we don't want, and I appreciate the effort once again, if you're somebody and you've just come up with a Walmart bag full of cans, please don't call me and say, hey, can you come to Aniana and pick up this bag of cans I've got? And that will happen. I appreciate that, but we're trying to just keep the cost of getting the cans here.
Yeah.
We don't want to spend any money that we'd make going to pick up cans just to help people because they make them feel good. So once again, if organizations can get together, collect cans, bring them to us, or if you do have a lot, we'll come pick them up. But I really want to keep it, just bring cans here, just good for the environment, good for the, and if we get 1,000,000, we know somehow we got $15,000 over the course of that for the shelter. So, hey, bring your cans to it. Bring your bags of aluminum cans.
Like your tin cans, those are heavier. Would that work as well? Because those tin cans are pretty heavy.
You can
Like your
bring them.
beans stuff came in.
Well, as long as they're pretty clean, you can bring them. You can still get money for 10 cans, but it's not much. It's maybe for, I think, 100 pounds, it's $10. So it's 10 cents a pound. But hey, if you bring them and we can keep them separated, now please don't bring a mixture of them, because then that causes problems at the recycling center. But if you got 10 cans, as long as they're clean, we'll take them too. If you want to bring an old appliance out here, we can stockpile that stuff and I'll take it to the scrapyard. I mean, anything metal, if it's metal, we can take it, we can stockpile it, take it and make some money. But aluminum cans is kind of the goal.
Or maybe old copper or something like that you're not using.
Oh yeah, if you got old copper, I'll take that all day long. Yeah, if it's metal, we've got a little bit of room here. We can stockpile our scrap, and it's just a moneymaker. If you want to throw it away and can make it here, we'll take it. Appliances, $10 or whatever you get, I'll get 2 or 3 and take them up there and get $30 for the shelter. Mm-hmm. It's just another way of give your junk a second chance to help us a second chance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Second chance for the junk. Okay, let's go ahead and go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. So y'all kind of hang in there, okay? We'll be right back.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Patterson's Music and Jewelry is a full-line music store offering guitar repair, setup and sound installation equipment, as well as instrument rentals and new and used guitars and amps. We offer jewelry at affordable prices and jewelry repair, watch batteries and link removal, and we offer personalized jewelry such as fingerprint, mother's rings, and pendants. Shop in historic downtown Fort Payne on Galt Avenue. Hours are 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturday. Call 256-845-4115. That's 256-845-4115. And thank you for trusting Patterson's Music and Jewelry.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us a number of different ways. You can go to the website, radio.media, and you can listen that way every day beginning at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Central as well. Find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, and where we're syndicated, and you can find us there on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I'm seeing a cuteness overload there, Doug. What's that you got going on there?
This is Darcy, and she's actually an office dog right now. Somebody from Sardis, if people are familiar with this area, Sardis, Alabama, called and said a dog had shown up at his house, and he thought she'd been attacked. So Wanda drove to Sardis. Once again, goes back to gas and stuff, drove to Sardis, picked up the dog, and took him straight to the vet. Actually had a tumor on her neck that was draining, and you can't see the little tube sticking out of her neck, but she's in the office now. We've had her about 3 days. Her little bug eyes, she looks like she's uptight. She's really not, but she just kind of got bug eyes. That makes her look like she's all, kind of nervous or whatever, but she's super good little dog. She actually wants to sit in my lap a lot. So I thought, well, I'll bring her in here and let the world see some of the animals. She's old. She's older. You can tell by looking at her little white face that she's got some age on her. But she's healthy. The tumor, apparently they got it removed, and she got to heal a little bit, and she'll be ready to find a home. Perfect little lap dog because she wants to sit in my lap all the time. Her little eyes don't seem as tense as they did a minute ago. But sometimes you just think they're going to pop out because it's got the little bug eyes. Super sweet little dog. Her name is Darcy. And if anybody wants to interested in checking on her, give us about a week or so. Make sure she's spayed and her little drainage thing is done. And I think she'd make a great dog. It's just one of the 280.
She's a sweetie pie. A lot of folks are, maybe the kids live away, the grandkids live away, and they're kind of by themselves, and animals, dogs, I'm going to tell you what, dogs are going to keep you company, and they're going to love you no matter what. You can wake up with no makeup on. They don't care.
I talked to a lady this morning that she lost her dog of 14 years last year, had 14 years, and she's having a hard time. I mean, she misses the companionship of the dog. Like she said, she told me just a little while ago, I talked to her on the phone. She said, the dog didn't care, judge nothing. Dog don't care anything about what you look like. And they just love unconditional. You're just there and they like you like you are. She would be the perfect dog for somebody who's kind of low energy. I don't think she'd be good to go run in a marathon with you. But she's got energy. She'll get down and run, but normally she wants to be right where she's at right now, being held. And she's super sweet.
A lot of folks want low energy dogs. A lot of folks want high energy dogs. And no, we can't see you. Yeah, you're going to have to put the camera down so we can see. And some people want dogs who can go with them on hikes and.
Well, we had that was the same thing. We had a lady we have some dogs that are part beagle and they're young. Well, that's a very active dog, and a lady just insisted on adopting that dog. And she was not an old lady, but an older lady, and it just didn't last very long. We knew from the get-go it was probably the dog was too high energy for her, and that's what happened. When apparently the dog was climbing on her counters, kitchen counters, and everything, just trying to find something to do. But if you had the right atmosphere, the dog would be great. That's the kind of dog, a younger beagle or something like that, if you're a high energy person, or a rat terrier. You're one of the most active dogs I've ever seen. You get a rat terrier, it's a high energy dog, so you don't need to have it in a crate in the house. She would be probably fine in a lower energy house. Know yourself before you come to the shelter and get a dog. Understand what you want, and we can guide you to the type of dog that, for the most part, that would probably be suitable. If you're low energy, you don't want a beagle. If you're high energy, okay, you might want a beagle. If you're, if you want a smart dog, don't get a basset hound. Well, I can't say that. There's some. If you want a dog to do tricks, you're going to have certain types, because some dogs the breeds are not smart enough to figure out much of anything. So we'll help you. That's one thing. If you come here to adopt, if you know yourself and kind of what you're looking for and can tell us, we know these girls that work here, they know these dogs, they know almost everything about them. We can really fix you up with a dog that'd be great for you. Most people want small dogs, and I get it. We got a lot of big dogs that are wonderful dogs. And the girls here, we got all these girls know their personalities. Somebody the other day called and they wanted a real vicious dog. Well, that's a red flag. I mean, that's what they wanted. I want a dog that's real vicious. You got to question their motives for having a dog. Why do you want one? So, do you need a guard dog? Are you going to fight dogs? What do you want one for like that? So, I mean,
yeah, a guard dog is good. Like Buddy's a big old boy, my dog, and he's part German Shepherd and part Lab. And so, I mean, he's a great guard dog, but we don't want him fighting with other dogs or anything like that.
No.
He's
and
a
I,
protector. He's a protector.
Protect you. Dogs protecting you is a big reason people have dogs.
You're living out in the country, yeah.
Yeah, but what do you want one that barks, or do you? We have some that would actually try to bite people. You don't want. That's not a good thing, because especially if other dogs come in your yard. I mean, that's not my kind of dog. But now barking, we have one dog at our house, and she'll bark, and that's what I need is a dog to let me know when a stranger's around or something's not right. But I don't want her biting anybody that comes to the house, and she wouldn't, I don't think. But she definitely lets you know they're there.
How can you calm a dog down? Like what if you get one and he's nervous? I mean, they're like people, okay? They get in different surroundings, and they gotta get used to you.
Yeah, it's odd that you said, because we had a dog that stayed here named Moose. He wasn't born here, but he came when he was a real young baby. Stayed here for 9 years and terrified of people his whole life. The girls that worked here never really could pet him. Some people came from Calera and adopted him, took him home, and he trusted them, and he calmed down. For the only people they came back up here the other day because Moose had died and they wanted to get another dog. But they said they're the only two people that dog ever trusted. I really don't know how to calm a dog down. There's so many. We've got one at the house. It's scared of a lot of people, noises. I don't know. I think it's a lot of the type of dog and also the people they're around. As far as calming them during certain situations, they have those calming jackets that you can buy for dogs. Like if they're scared of thunder, they call them thunder shirts, actually.
Yeah,
Some dogs they work on, some dogs they don't. But if you've got a dog, there's certain things you can do. In thunder, gunshots, those thunder shirts work. I don't know. That's one of the things I hadn't figured out, because some of these dogs, by nature, they're nervous and they're scared of people. And a lot maybe how they were treated before they got here. We actually see dogs that when they come in here, they're terrified of people, and
somebody mistreated them.
Yeah,
that's just all there is to it.
And you can almost tell that with like men. This dog, Darcy, she seems to like me. Now she kind of runs from some of the other people, but I think a man must have been in her life that treated her right, because she's kind of drawn to me. Most of the time it's the other way around. Dogs are drawn towards women, and men make them nervous, and that tells me that probably men are not as kind to animals as women are. As a general rule, I would think that would be the case, that men are more stern or direct, and I think it makes animals nervous. When Animal Patrol comes out here, I mean, he's not a bad guy, but the dogs don't like him. He can walk out there to the kennel.
They're afraid of my next. That's what they're smarter than people think they are. I mean, they really are.
I mean, if a guy's been doing animal control for very long, I believe these dogs can pick it up, and it's just you can see a reaction. If somebody comes out here in a lot of times a hat, a lot of these dogs, if somebody's wearing a hat, they'll get angry and bark and carry on like not in an abnormal way. So yeah, I think they know. I think if somebody's been abusive to them, the other dogs can pick it up. If an abusive person comes out here, I think the dogs say, yeah, we don't like this person. My mother always said, if a dog doesn't like you, there must be something wrong with you.
I agree. I agree. And dogs can sense that. Dogs are smarter than we are when it comes to a person, what they're really like. They sense evil. I think they sense evil.
Yeah, because I've seen dogs here. Everybody be super friendly, and the right person come along, and that dog will start getting, start snarling, and it's just it's odd. I think they have an instinct of character that we don't, that we don't understand. I think it'd probably be good for us to understand that. Yeah, none of these dogs like this person. You might want to be leery of this person. All the dogs are wanting to kill him, so we didn't
Well,
really stay.
we have a neighbor that's a little bit out there, and so our dog will look in that general direction and start barking.
Yeah, see, I mean, what's the dog trying to tell me? Kind of
He'll
like
be just
Lassie.
fine. He'll be just fine. And when this person comes out, he starts.
Oh wow! See, I mean, it makes you wonder. In the movie or show Lassie, Lassie's trying to tell him Timmy fell in the well or
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh,
Or, where's Timmy?
He was always falling in the well.
So dogs have an instinct, and I really think I really figure 1,000 years from now we will be a lot more in tune to animals than we are now. If the world is still exists, I mean, I think I think we're learning little by little, but I believe 1,000 years from now we'll think, how can we not listen to the instinctive voices of these animals? Not just dogs. I think all animals probably have something that we're missing in this time and this era. We're missing. Have you ever heard of the cat that was up at hospice that would show up on the night that people passed away? That cat would sit by the door. And I've read stories of other locations in England and all that where cats have a sensitivity to death and stuff. And I don't believe it's really widely known or people really, but we need to pay attention to stuff like that. There's just something that we're missing. Our connection to animals, we need to expand that and understand. They have instincts that we don't, and I think we miss it. I think we're so busy we don't pay attention. And humans miss the boat. I think we need to pay more attention to what animals are trying to tell us. Remember when the tsunami hit? I don't even know where it hit now. And it said all the animals started moving hours before it happened. They all started moving to higher ground.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew. They sensed that. And people were there standing like dummies watching the wave come in. And, they end up getting killed because of it. But the animals knew. And I really believe we need to be more in tune with the natural world. And how we can do that, I don't know. But I try to pay attention to these dogs. What are they trying to tell me? If I'm in a bad mood, I've got 6 dogs at our house. Probably by the end of the day, I only have 5. One of them's she's on her last run. But if I'm in a bad mood, it seems like they just want to come up to me. They're gathering around me. They almost like, hey, get out of your bad mood.
And
So,
I think everybody has some crazy family members. I know I got plenty of them in mine.
we are the crazy family members.
So if you get your feelings hurt or something, then you come home. It seems like they know. I mean, they'll just start gathering around you, and they'll just start wanting, extra lap time. And
That's it. I mean, this morning, okay, one of our dogs, Izzy, which I got her from the pound in 2008, and they put him down at 5:15. I picked her up at 5 o'clock. She really had 15 minutes left to live. She's been our dog since 2008. Well, she's on her last. I wouldn't be surprised I could leave here, go home, and she'll be dead because she's been laying in her bed, hadn't eaten for 3 days. Only reason I haven't taken her hand to put it down because she don't seem to be suffering. She's just existing right now. But the last few days, the other dogs have been just constantly right there with me. I sit on the couch. I got 2 dogs in my lap. I've even got cats coming around in my lap. All the animals in the household seem to be trying to help me through this. And I believe it does. They don't really seem to pay attention to Izzy. They're paying more attention to me and Wanda, kind of like, I don't know. It's just weird watching.
they're comforting you.
I think they are. I think they know, hey, it's okay. They're trying to tell me and Wanda both, it's okay. It's part of life. Don't worry about it.
We're here.
That's it. Don't forget us. I really believe they're trying to tell us. I wish they could talk. And maybe I wish I could, I wish I was Dr. Doolittle and could know exactly what they said. But
I love that movie. I love that. It's one of my favorite movies. Something, when my grandmother always had dogs and cats, and she was an animal lover like me. And now my other grandmother, not so much, but this one in particular. So she had a dog. His name was Butterball. and she fed him all the time. His man, he was like a weenie dog, but he's so
Uh-huh.
fat, his stomach. And she fed him all the time. But when she had a stroke, and I think he knew she was dying, and so she never made it home. So
Oh,
every time a car would come up in the driveway and hit to the carport, Butterball would start running up. He actually started losing weight. He wouldn't
oh,
eat,
wow.
and
Looking
but
for
she
her.
would talk to him when she was feeding him. You know, just like he was a
Um,
kid or something. So every time a car would come, he'd run to the door or run and look out the window. He grieved. That dog grieved when she passed.
See, yesterday, now Izzy has been pretty much down for 2 or 3 days now. She gets up to drink water or something occasionally. In between our bedroom and our living room, we have a little cat door that's pretty small, just so the cats can go in and out of the bedroom. And a couple of our dogs can go through there, but the other ones are too big. Izzy was too big. Yesterday, I went home at lunchtime, and Izzy, now she'd been laying on her bed in the living room. She had got up and went through that cat. How she got through the cat door, I don't know. She went in there, was laying by my side of the bed. And I told Juan, I broke down because I said, I think she was trying to get close. She knows she's on her deathbed. I mean, she hadn't eaten in 3 days. She knows. But when I saw her, I couldn't find her. When I went in, she's not in the living room in her bed. Where's she at? And I went in her bedroom, and she's laying by my side of the bed. And I thought, she's trying to get close to me or let me know. I just felt like, yeah, I thought she was trying to communicate with me. Um, every time I pet her, I mean, I keep almost feeling like I should take her to the vet and have them put her down. But I get the feeling she said, no, I'm at home. I want to die at home. I'm not hurting. I'm beyond. And of course, I try to give her food and water, and she won't take it. So it's death for animals is a sad thing, but I still there's something. Humans, we've got to wake up and realize that their animals are here for more than just whatever. I think we need to communicate, learn what their messages are sending, or I don't know. There's a lot of universal things going on here that I don't understand. But
I agree with you. I think we need to stop and just shut up and listen for a little bit to an animal. I,
what are the, what are
I,
the instincts of these animals trying? How can we make things better? That's Um, anyways,
So if you would like to have an animal, I mean, you need to go and adopt. Now, what if you just don't want to adopt? You just want to have an animal in your life for just a little bit of time. Can you do
hey,
that?
fostering, we are really wanting to start. Fostering is the key to animal shelters. Most major animal shelters are going a lot more to foster-based systems. So we need fosters. If you want to foster for a day, if you get a weekend, say, man, I ain't got nothing to do this weekend, come out here. You can take a dog home for a Saturday night out. And don't worry about the dog not wanting to come back to the shelter. They still say it's beneficial. The dogs benefit just from being away from here, like a weekend pass. Um, yes, we need fosters. A lot of times we need fosters for pregnant dogs, mama dogs with puppies. We had that happen last week. Somebody called, their dog had 4 puppies, and she wasn't feeding them, so we got a foster to take care of the puppies.
Oh,
They had another dog that was nursing, so that's all working out. So we need fosters for pregnant dogs, mamas with puppies, litters of puppies. Contact us for fostering, and it's not long term. If you get a litter of puppies, you take care of them until they're old enough to be adopted, and then you don't have to worry about them anymore. It might be difficult to give them up if you've
I
helped
was going
raise
to
them,
say.
but still, we need fosters. Very much do we need fosters. Sometimes we have hospice fosters. A dog, we know it's not going to live, it's got cancer or something, and we know its time is limited. And if you can foster it and give it out of here so it dies in a home environment, that's awesome. It's tough. It would take a very special kind of person to do that, but we need that sometimes. No dog should die at a shelter. I don't. I really hope we can get away from that. But if you can take it to your home and comfort it and work with it until it passes, that would be just. You would benefit. The dog definitely would benefit, and we would benefit because I don't know. So we
That's
need.
true. You know what? I wanted to mention, people, Christmas came and people were getting presents and stuff for their animals, but now Valentine's Day is coming up too.
Uh-huh.
And so your honey may have said, you know what? I'd like to have a dog. Is it wise to go in because everybody wants the gift to be a surprise. I mean, everybody
Oh
does.
yeah.
But should an animal be a surprise? Shouldn't you let the person go and pick out the animal that they connect with? Because there's a connection there.
Yeah, and then wait, maybe make him up a really nice card or put some thought into that and have that as part of the cards. Hey, for your Valentine's, on the card say this entitles you to go with me. I will take you to the animal shelter to get you a dog. Something I really don't think it's a good idea to show up and, hey, here, I got you this dog for Christmas,
I don't know.
because the dog you choose, it's a personal thing. A lot of people come through here and they'll find the dog that gels with them. So yeah, I think a certificate or something like that is better, because you want the person that gets the dog to be part of selecting the dog. Absolutely. You don't want to surprise them, because they may be a low energy person and you give them a beagle and they're miserable. And then they feel bad because they don't want to return the dog. If you bring them here, they find the dog that would suit them. So yeah, if you're going to give a dog as a gift, please make the gift receiver, part of selecting the dog. It's just
a personal thing. Some people
Yeah.
don't like big dogs. I love big dogs. So you'd make me happy with a big dog. But then some people would much rather have a smaller one. So let me ask you this. So what if somebody comes to the shelter and for their sweetheart, they get them a dog and there's no connection between them? Is it
We
better to
always
bring the dog back and get another one?
Absolutely. We want any dog that comes from Second Chance. It's open policy. They need to come back to Second Chance. If it doesn't work out, bring it back here, because
Please.
we really try to find the right home for it. We'd rather you do that than give it to somebody else. And a lot of people comply. Some people just do whatever with it, but try to get it back here, because it does happen. A lot of times you get a dog home and all of a sudden you realize that's not the dog that I really wanted. And then so bring it back here. We'll help you find. May not work the first time. Wanda used to have a dog named Gizmo years ago, and he had been returned 3 times to the shelter in Jackson County. That was his last time there. They said if Wanda did not keep him, if she brought him back or whatever, that was in the line for Gizmo. Well, she kept him till he died when he was about 15 years old. So, sometimes the right home may take you. Now, on that token, give a dog a chance. If you take a dog home, don't decide to bring him back 15 minutes after you take him home. If he goes home, he's terrified, he's standing there and he pees on the floor because he don't know where he's at, don't rush to judgment and say, oh, I got to take him back. He peed on the floor.
Give it some time.
Yeah, normally I would say 2 weeks would be a good time period. If after 2 weeks he hadn't started to be the dog that you hope for, you might start considering. But, you got to give them a little bit of time, because they've been living here for any length of time. It's a totally different environment. Little nervousness, they may hide out. They may not eat. They may pee in the floor. They may do all kinds of weird things. Couple of weeks. So count on that. If you adopt a dog, please think at least 2 weeks to give that dog a chance to move in, to learn to live how you want it to live, and y'all can bond or whatever.
Please. Less than a minute left in this segment. What would you like to tell the folks before you go?
Adopt. Excuse me. That's the big message I always say. Adopt from a shelter. If you want to help us foster, that would be the best thing you can do, is help us foster. Spay and neuter, because that's only smart. There's too many dogs and we can't take care of all of them. Drop the population. The killing of any healthy dog goes away. And come visit. Hey, we're here 5 days a week. From 9 to 4 every day, but Wednesday and Sunday we're here. Come visit, and to help us sit in the office and talk, whatever. We're always enjoy people coming out here.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much for being on the show.
I love it, and I hope to see you soon.
I'm always so excited when you're on
It's
the
going to be a
show.
great year. 2023, best year ever for Second Chance.
Absolutely. And you make sure you tell Wanda I said hello and thank you for everything she does as well.
Yeah, I've got to find her, but when I do, I'll tell her.
Make sure you do. You take care. I'll see you later, Doug.